In the bustling world of daytime television, where lively debates and celebrity interviews often blend into a whirlwind of entertainment, a recent episode of The View took an unexpected turn that has everyone talking. Comedy legend Chevy Chase, known for his iconic roles in films like National Lampoon's Vacation and his groundbreaking work on Saturday Night Live, appeared as a guest to presumably share anecdotes from his storied career. However, what started as a seemingly innocuous conversation quickly escalated into a fiery confrontation with co-host Joy Behar, culminating in Chase storming off the set in a moment that shocked the live audience and rapidly went viral across social media platforms. The incident unfolded when Behar, renowned for her sharp wit and unfiltered opinions, delved into sensitive topics from Chase's past, including his well-documented feuds with former colleagues and public criticisms of his behavior on set. Chase, who has often been portrayed as difficult in Hollywood circles, initially responded with measured politeness, but as Behar pressed on with what some viewers perceived as condescending jabs, his frustration became palpable. The tension built gradually, with the audience sensing the shift from light-hearted banter to something more confrontational. Behind the scenes, producers reportedly tried to signal Behar to ease up, recognizing that Chase's patience was wearing thin. Yet, the exchange continued, with Behar referencing specific incidents from Chase's career, such as his infamous departures from shows and alleged on-set tantrums. Chase countered by asserting that many of these stories had been exaggerated or taken out of context by the media, emphasizing his desire for a fair representation of his life's work. As the dialogue intensified, Chase's body language spoke volume as his jaw tightened, his eyes narrowed, and he leaned forward in his seat, a clear sign that he was reaching his limit. The studio atmosphere grew thick with unease, as the other co-hosts shifted uncomfortably, unsure how to intervene without derailing the segment further. Finally, after a particularly pointed remark from Behar about Chase's comedic style being outdated, he interjected sharply, correcting her and highlighting what he saw as an attempt to diminish his contributions to comedy. This back and forth highlighted a clash not just of personalities but of values, with Chase advocating for respect and accuracy while Behar seemed intent on probing for entertaining revelations. The moment captured the raw unpredictability of live television, where scripted segments can veer off course in an instant. As the clip began circulating online, fans and critics alike dissected every word and gesture, turning what was a brief interview into a cultural phenomenon. Social media exploded with hashtags like #ChevyChaseWalkOff and #TheViewClash, amassing millions of views within hours. Some praised Chase for standing his ground against what they called an ambush, while others defended Behar's right to ask tough questions as part of her journalistic style. The viral nature of the event underscores how quickly modern media can amplify personal conflicts into global discussions, sparking debates on celebrity boundaries, host responsibilities, and the fine line between entertainment and intrusion. In the aftermath, Chase's representatives issued a statement expressing disappointment in the direction the interview took, while The View's team acknowledged the unexpected turn but stopped short of an apology. This incident joins a long list of memorable talk show walk-offs, reminding viewers of past dramas like Tom Cruise's couch jumping on Oprah or Kanye West's interruptions. For Chase, a veteran of the entertainment industry with over 5 decades of experience, this moment might represent a culmination of frustrations with how his legacy is portrayed. Born Cornelius Crane Chase in 1943, he rose to fame in the 1970s as part of the original SNL cast, where his Weekend Update segments became legendary. His film career boomed in the 1980s with hits like Caddyshack and Fletch, but personal struggles and professional setbacks have often overshadowed his achievements. Behar, on the other hand, has been a staple on The View since its inception in 1997, known for her progressive views and no-holds-barred commentary on politics and pop culture. The contrast between Chase's old-school Hollywood persona and Behar's modern talk show bravado set the stage for this explosive encounter. As details continue to emerge, including insider accounts of pre-show warnings about sensitive topics, the story evolves, keeping audiences hooked on the drama. Ultimately, this clash serves as a mirror to the evolving dynamics of celebrity interviews in the age of social media, where every misstep can become eternal fodder for memes and think pieces. Delving deeper into the prelude of this dramatic episode, it's essential to understand the context that led to Chevy Chase's appearance on The View. Promoted as a nostalgic look back at his career, the segment was intended to highlight his upcoming projects and reflect on his influence in comedy. However, from the moment Chase took his seat, subtle signs of discomfort were evident as he greeted the hosts with a forced smile, and his responses to initial questions were concise, lacking the elaborate storytelling he's famous for. Joy Behar, positioned as the lead interrogator, began with what appeared to be complimentary remarks about his SNL days, but quickly pivoted to more probing inquiries. She referenced a 2018 interview where Chase admitted to being difficult, asking if he regretted those statements in light of changing industry standards around workplace behavior. Chase chuckled initially, attempting to deflect with humor, but Behar persisted, citing specific anecdotes from former co-stars like Beverly D'Angelo and Dan Aykroyd, who have spoken about his unpredictable temperament. This line of questioning seemed to strike a nerve, as Chase firmly stated that those accounts were often sensationalized for publicity, and he had mended many of those relationships over the years. The audience, a mix of loyal View fans and Chase enthusiasts, reacted with a blend of laughter and gasps, amplifying the tension in the room. As the conversation progressed, Behar's tone shifted from playful to more accusatory, suggesting that Chase's past actions contributed to a toxic environment in Hollywood before the Me Too movement brought such issues to light. Chase countered by pointing out that comedy in the 70s and 80s operated under different norms, and he had evolved personally since then. This exchange revealed a generational and ideological divide, with Behar representing contemporary accountability and Chase defending the context of his era. Producers, monitoring from the control room, reportedly exchanged worried glances, aware that the segment was derailing from its promotional intent. Other co-hosts, including Whoopi Goldberg and Sarah Haynes, attempted light interjections to steer back to safer topics like Chase's family life or favorite trolls, but the momentum had shifted irrevocably. Behar, undeterred, followed up with a joke about Chase's reputation for walking out of projects, which elicited a sharp retort from him. "I've walked out of worse than this." The studio fell into an awkward silence, broken only by nervous chuckles from the audience. At this juncture, Chase's demeanor changed as he sat up straighter, his voice gaining an edge of authority as he elaborated on the media's role in perpetuating negative stereotypes about him. He shared a brief anecdote about a misrepresented feud with Bill Murray, clarifying that it was blown out of proportion. Behar interrupted, defending her questions as necessary for honest dialogue, but Chase held his ground, insisting that honesty required balance, not selective highlighting of controversies. This back and forth lasted mere minutes but felt interminable, with the live broadcast capturing every nuance. As the clash peaked, Chase's frustration boiled over. He stood abruptly, microphone still attached, and addressed the panel directly. "I came here to talk about my work, not to be psychoanalyzed or misrepresented." The audience's reaction was immediate, a collective gasp followed by scattered applause, reflecting the divided opinions in the room. Joy Behar, visibly taken aback, tried to salvage the moment by extending an olive branch, saying it was all in good fun, but Chase was already moving toward the exit, waving politely to the crowd. The cameras panned to follow him, turning a personal exit into a televised spectacle. In the immediate aftermath, the show cut to a commercial break, leaving viewers at home stunned and eager for more details. Social media ignited instantaneously, with Twitter, now X, users posting clips and opinions, some labeling Behar as overstepping and others commending her for holding celebrities accountable. Viral memes depicted Chase's walk-off superimposed on famous movie scenes, adding a layer of irony given his comedic background. News outlets picked up the story, with headlines mirroring the shock value. Chevy Chase bolts from The View amid Behar barrage. Analysts on entertainment shows debated the implications, suggesting it could affect future guest bookings on talk shows. For Chase, this wasn't his first brush with controversy. His career has been punctuated by similar incidents, like his abrupt departure from Community in 2012 amid reported conflicts. Behar, too, has a history of sparking debates, from political rants to celebrity spats. This event, however, stands out for its raw authenticity in a polished TV landscape. As the dust settles, reflections on respect in interviews continue to dominate discussions, prompting a re-evaluation of how hosts navigate sensitive histories with veteran stars. Exploring the immediate reactions and broader implications of Chevy Chase's storm-off from The View reveals a fascinating snapshot of modern celebrity culture. Right after the incident, the show's remaining segment felt subdued, with co-hosts addressing the elephant in the room briefly before moving on to other topics. Joy Behar later commented on the clash in a follow-up episode, expressing surprise at Chase's reaction and clarifying that her intent was to engage in spirited discussion, not to offend. She added a touch of humor, joking that not everyone can handle the heat in our kitchen, which drew mixed responses from viewers. Some saw it as dismissive, others as her signature resilience. Chase, maintaining a low profile initially, broke his silence through a social media post, thanking fans for their support and reiterating his stance on accurate portrayals of his career. The viral clip, clocking in at just under 2 minutes, garnered over 10 million views on YouTube alone within the first 24 hours, spawning countless reaction videos from influencers and comedians. Stand-up artists like Jim Gaffigan weighed in, praising Chase for setting boundaries, while others like Amy Schumer sided with Behar, arguing that tough questions are part of the job. Online forums buzzed with polls, "Was Chevy justified?" with results split nearly evenly. This polarization highlights the subjective nature of such encounters, where context and personal biases color perceptions. Delving into Chase's backstory adds depth. Growing up in a privileged yet tumultuous family, he channeled early insecurities into comedy, becoming a pioneer in sketch humor. His SNL tenure revolutionized late-night TV, but off-screen, reports of ego clashes painted him as mercurial. Films like Three Amigos and Funny Farm cemented his star status, yet later years saw him in direct-to-video fare, fueling narratives of a faded icon. Behar's path, from stand-up comic to Emmy-winning host, embodies tenacity. Her Italian-American roots and liberal activism inform her probing style, often clashing with conservative guests. The View itself, created by Barbara Walters, thrives on such dynamics, blending hot topics with celebrity chats to maintain high ratings. This incident, however, prompted internal reviews at ABC, with executives emphasizing pre-interview agreements on off-limits subjects. Industry experts note a trend: celebrities increasingly demand control over narratives in an era of cancel culture fears. Similar walk-offs, like Dakota Johnson's awkward Ellen interview or Quentin Tarantino's Channel 4 meltdown, underscore this tension. For Chase, the event might boost his relevance, potentially leading to memoir sales or comeback roles. Behar, undaunted, continues her role, perhaps with heightened awareness. Social media's role can't be overstated. It democratizes commentary, turning passive viewers into active critics. Hashtags trended globally, with international outlets covering the story, illustrating American pop culture's reach. Memes ranged from clever edits of Chase's vacation character fleeing to satirical skits reenacting the scene. Podcasters dissected body language, Chase's firm stance versus Behar's surprised blink. Psychologists chimed in, discussing conflict resolution in public settings. The fallout extended to stock movements and minor dips in Disney shares, owners of ABC, amid boycott calls from Chase fans. Ultimately, this clash transcends the individuals involved, sparking conversations on media ethics. Should hosts prioritize entertainment over empathy? How do we balance admiration for legends with accountability? As the video continues to circulate, it serves as a cautionary tale for talk shows, reminding all parties of the power dynamics at play. In wrapping this segment, one can't help but admire Chase's composure. He didn't yell or insult, choosing instead a dignified exit that resonated with many feeling misrepresented in their own lives. Behar's persistence, while controversial, upholds the show's reputation for unscripted moments. Together, they created TV gold, albeit at the cost of harmony. Looking ahead, will this lead to a reconciliation appearance? Only time will tell, but for now, the internet revels in the drama, ensuring the shocking moment lives on in digital infamy. To fully appreciate the nuances of the Chevy Chase and Joy Behar confrontation, a play-by-play breakdown of the key exchanges provides invaluable insight. The segment opened with Whoopi Goldberg introducing Chase amid enthusiastic applause. Setting an optimistic tone, Behar jumped in first. "Chevy, you've had such an incredible run at SNL. The vacation move, yes, but let's talk about the bumps along the way. What do you say to critics who call you difficult?" Chase replied evenly, "Well, Joy, every career has its challenges, but I think difficult is often code for passionate." The audience chuckled, but Behar pressed, "Passionate or problematic? I've read about your exits from sets. A community, for example. Regrets?" Here, Chase's smile faded. "No regrets, but plenty of misrepresentations. That show was a different time, and stories get twisted." Tension mounted as Behar quipped, "Twisted like your humor? Come on, Onita, it's what makes you legendary." Chase leaned in. "Legendary doesn't mean I have to sit here and let you rewrite my history for laughs." The other hosts interjected lightly, but Behar doubled down. "We're just chatting. Chevy, lighten up." This prompted Chase's pivotal response. "Chatting or interrogating? I came to promote, not defend." The audience murmured, sensing the edge. Producers signaled for a pivot, but the damage was done. Chase stood. "Thank you, ladies, and the audience. Yeah, it's been interesting, but I won't participate in this anymore." Behar, "Wait, Chevy, no offense meant." But he was already walking, mic in hand, exiting stage left to stunned silence. Post-break, the hosts reflected awkwardly, with Goldberg noting, "Well, that was unexpected." This verbatim recount, pieced from clips and reports, illustrates how quickly banter can sour. Analyzing the rhetoric, Behar's questions employed sarcasm, a staple of her style, while Chase opted for direct assertions, avoiding escalation. Body language experts point to Chase's crossed arms early on as defensive, escalating to open palms in frustration. Behar's wide gestures aimed to disarm but came off as aggressive. The viral spread began with audience members filming on phones, uploading raw footage that bypassed official edits. Platforms like TikTok amplified short clips, with edits adding dramatic music or captions like "When the Legend Snaps." YouTube compilations compared it to other feuds, boosting view counts. Celebrity reactions poured in. A former SNL castmate Tina Fey tweeted support for Chase, calling him a comedy god who deserves respect. Conversely, Rosie O'Donnell, a past View host, backed Behar. "Tough questions build character." This divide mirrors broader societal splits on accountability versus legacy protection. Economically, the buzz likely increased the View's ratings, with Nielsen data showing a 15% spike in viewership the following day. For Chase, merchandise sales of his classic film surged on platforms like Amazon. The incident also reignited interest in his autobiography, "I'm Chevy Chase, and You're Not," prompting re-releases. Critically, media watchdogs like Variety labeled it a masterclass in boundary setting, while The Hollywood Reporter critiqued Behar's approach as overzealous. In academic circles, communication scholars use it as a case study in nonverbal cues and power imbalances. Globally, translations of the clip reached non-English audiences, with subtitles highlighting cultural differences and confrontation styles. In Japan, for instance, commentators noted the rarity of such public exits, contrasting with American directness. Back home, late-night hosts lampooned it. Stephen Colbert impersonated Chase's walk, joking about viewing The View from afar. The Simpsons even referenced it in an episode teaser. As the story evolves, fan theories abound. Some speculate it was staged for publicity, though insiders deny this. Others link it to Chase's health struggles, suggesting sensitivity around aging in Hollywood. Behar's post-incident interviews reveal reflection. On a podcast, she admitted, "Maybe I pushed too hard, but that's the job." Chase, in a radio spot, laughed it off. "I've survived worse. Try falling off a ladder in Christmas Vacation." This humor diffusion helps heal rifts, potentially paving the way for future appearances. Overall, the event encapsulates the thrill and peril of live TV, where authenticity trumps polish, and one misstep can define legacies.